Hey, it's Malachi. Welcome back to our third video. It's about pricing. This is CJ. I have him along to help us understand different parts that go into it as well. So, first thing we want to talk about is
Miles,
miles.
distance.
So, if we went from where we're at, Phoenix, Arizona, we were looking to ship a car, whether it's Washington, Michigan, New York, Florida, Dallas. In those areas, you could see here that it's every single one of them is different mileage bands. So that's going to play a big factor into where you're going. The next thing is size. CJ, you want to go over size?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's come with me real quick. Let's go look at a couple different vehicles that we have sitting over here. So when it comes down to size, really it depends on what kind of trailer we get, right? You can have a 1-car carrier all the way to a 10-car, right? When it comes down to it, size and pricing, something like this is going to be a little bit cheaper than something along the lines of, a Hummer H2 or a GMC 1500. Reason being is the size of these trailers. They're 53 foot. They're 53 foot wide or long. I'm sorry. Something like this, about maybe 180 inches, right? If we had 4 of these, I could fit 4 along the top of pretty much any trailer. Fit 3 on the bottom. Now I have 7 on my 7-car. However, if I were to get a couple more of these bad boys here that are, what would you say, 200 to 215 inches long, something like that, especially, front bumper guard, something, anything on the back there, you're taking up a little bit too much space. If I had one of these and just one other larger SUV, now all of a sudden on my 7-car, I can only get 6. So the pricing on that is going to be a little bit more. Height also goes into it. So we have to, all of these trailers that you see out there, the dry van trailers, everything that you see out there on the road is going to be at that 13.6, unless it's a high cube, right? You got high cubes at 14. You want to discuss heights?
Yeah. So on the height piece, like CJ was talking about, we're playing with 13.6. So this can only go on the top end of the trailer. So when you have one of these on top of it, you're sitting here, I'm 6'2", you're probably sitting here about 6'2", you throw this into it, you're probably looking at about 6'6", right? So it's as tall as Michael Jordan. So you put Michael Jordan on the top, you only have a little bit more to play with. You could probably only put something like this underneath it, or like that underneath it, but you cannot stack another Hummer or another full-size truck, or even a full-size SUV or a minivan, because you're going to end up pushing that 13.6 height once you're on that trailer. So when you have something this long and this big, same thing as one of the other trucks, you're going to end up limiting yourself on the length and on the height of what you can put in. So the pricing of these then take into consideration, you're going to go from a 7-car hauler to a 6-car hauler, and the size of the vehicles are going to end up impacting that less one vehicle. So it has to spread out to be able to pay for that one less space, right? So these are going to be a little bit more expensive because then the driver has to haul one less car, but then is going to have to make sure he makes it fits for the height and the length to make sure everything's secured properly.
So something else that can affect the pricing is going to be the type of trailer that we choose.
Right.
So we do have open trailers or enclosed trailers. The vast majority of vehicles, I would say, are transported on open
Right.
trailers.
Right.
There are some people, and I just want to talk about really the differences in those two trailers, just because there is some confusion out there. One side is closed, the other side is open, right? So the open ones, you're going to deal with stuff like weather. You might deal with some debris, some rocks, nothing that's going to be any different than if you were driving that vehicle anyway. Right. And most of the time, if you could tell, I mean, the semi is going to be taking the brunt of everything. So I'm not saying your vehicle's not safe on an open trailer. It's completely safe. In fact, when we do dealership transfers or something like that, like any of the dealerships that are getting these brand new cars, most of the time it's on an open trailer anyway.
Right.
The differences in pricing from those two could be anywhere from, depending on distance, could be anywhere from, on a short run, $200 more to all the way across America. I mean, you're looking at 13, maybe even 1,500 more for an enclosed trailer.
Right.
My opinion, depending on the vehicle, I'm gonna send all of these on an open trailer, every single one of them. And if we got a little dirty because of the weather or something like that, $15-20 car wash will knock that off, and you're gonna save a ton
Right.
from going open. So
Yeah, if you go enclosed, most people that go enclosed, like we were just at Barrett Jackson a couple weeks ago, and Barrett Jackson, some of those cars are going 100, 200, 500, $1 million. Those ones are probably going to end up going enclosed. Most of those are custom vehicles, one of a kind. So most of those guys ended up sending those enclosed. It's like one of my customers called me yesterday. We were talking about his car. He's got a Mazda Miata. The Mazda Miata is a soft top convertible, and it has the soft window in the back, and he was just worried that when we go to ship it right now from Washington down to here, the issue would be that soft top would hit the weather, it would potentially leak, make a lot of mess. So we're going to end up shipping that enclosed. So that's where we encourage just to have the conversation with us. Let's talk about your move. Let's talk about the vehicle. Let's talk about the sentimental value of that vehicle, the value overall of that vehicle, and figure out what fits the best, right? Pricing's not everything, but it's what a lot of people ask about. It's the first question. How much is it, Malachi? How much is it, CJ? I want to know how much it is, right? But you have to factor in, why are we shipping it? What are we shipping it for? What's the vehicle? What's the reason of the vehicle? Sometimes it's a sentimental value thing. We were talking to a guy the other day at an expo, and he wanted to ship this 3500 enclosed because it was his grandfather's truck that they restored together. And it's not like a high-end truck, but the sentimental value to it, he wants to ship that 50s 3500 enclosed because of the value of it to him. So just, we want to understand that. So we encourage Colin, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the move and understand that. But when it comes down to pricing, we could do both, open and closed. Open's going to be the most cost effective because the majority of car haulers out there are open. Enclosed has a little bit less enclosed out there, so there's a higher value of it. Both are fully insured, but enclosed carries a larger insured dollar amount because they're typically hauling the exotic cars, the hypercars, the supercars, things like that. So they're holding a higher insurance value. The equipment is substantially more expensive, so operating those from a business perspective, it's a lot more expensive. We're talking 2 to 3 times more than an open carrier when it comes to buying that type of equipment. So that plays a huge factor into it. So insurance and the equipment value is significantly more. And the risk of just hauling $1 million, $2 million, $3 million car, multiple of those in a trailer. So the difference between open and closed, we can do them. We just want you to understand. We want to educate you on the difference between those. The other stuff is seasonality. If you want to just go over a little bit of the seasonality stuff.
No, not really.
Okay, so seasonality, since CJ doesn't want to go over any of it, I'll start with it. So we're into February right now. February is kind of a slower season. January, February is the slowest season because most people are not buying vehicles because it goes into tax season. Right now, everyone's filing their taxes. They're expecting to get their taxes back come March, April. And then that's when it starts transitioning to people buying. You go into a buying season. Dealerships start buying a lot more cars. Customers start buying more cars. And you go into the summer and people start moving. Before we go into the summer, let's talk about April and May. Well, we call that the snowbirds. Snowbirds are leaving this beautiful state of Arizona and heading back up into the Midwest or the Northwest or the Northeast because they want to get away from the beautiful 120 degrees that we have here. And so we move a ton of snowbirds north. So April and May, leaving the southern states going north, it's going to be a lot more expensive. On the reverse of that, coming back down is going to actually be a lot better pricing coming from the north, coming down into the oven of the southern states. You're going to be spending less money because there's going to be more going up, meaning more trucks up there, less people coming back down here into the hotter weather. So you're going to end up getting a better price coming down.
So those that watched your last video might take that in account. Wait a couple months maybe.
Yeah. So the last video we talked about, you're getting your tax return, you're looking to buy. I was talking about local markets. Don't stick in your local markets. Look nationwide because you have somebody like CJ and I that can help you out move it. So looking at pricing. If you're going to end up buying up in the Northeast, or the Midwest, and you're going to bring it back down. If you find something up there, just know in the next couple months it's going to be a little bit cheaper to ship it down here than maybe it would be coming into the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Summer months, kids are out of school, people are making big life changes, they're moving across country, they're moving state to state, interstate, wherever. That's where it gets really busy. Our busiest time in car hauling is from May really to October. That's the busiest seasons that we have, because of snowbirds, because of people moving, because dealerships start getting hot. Everyone's selling a lot more vehicles, moving a lot more, so you start hauling a lot more cars. So the summer months are really busy for us. We get into college, people going into college. You're going to end up starting to see an influx in August and September. You have a lot of people going into school. So they just graduated high school. They're going into college. Now they're figuring out how to get their car up to where they're going to go to college at. So those 2 months, you're going to see a lot of students moving. And then right after that time, you're going to end up seeing snowbirds returning back down into the southern states. So from September to November, snowbirds are shipping themselves back down into the southern states, getting out of that colder climate weather. So they want to come back down here. They want to start golf. They want to start the holidays. And then toward the end of the year, kind of teeters off. It stays pretty busy, but the hardest part about the end of the year is all the holidays. Drivers scheduling their home time for the holidays.
They have families as well.
You're scheduling your time for the holidays, so scheduling becomes a little bit more difficult. So pricing sometimes is that way as well, because there might be less people out there, supply and demand. So pricing could be, depending on your route, what you're looking at, it could be a little bit more expensive, depending on the route and the time and how close it is to a specific holiday. So all that being said, quality and pricing, right? Don't diminish your quality of transport by just looking at price. Price is a big factor to everybody, but it's not when it comes down to compromising that quality, right? You want to know, are they knowledgeable? Are they experienced? Do they have the expertise of securing it properly? Blah, blah, blah. So do they have the vast network to be able to take care of it? Those are some of the things that we just want to encourage you with. Look at some of our previous videos that we had going over some of those things that when you're going to get a quote and looking at people, look at like we said, the Better Business Bureau and the Google Business Profile. So down in the comments, we're going to post up our Better Business Bureau, our Google Business Profile, so you can look and see what that looks like and utilize those tools. We're really encouraged about just educating more people in what we do every single day to make sure you're making the best decision for you, getting your vehicle from point A to point B as stress-free as possible, right?
Yeah, let us take that part from you.
Yeah,
for sure.
So you call us, we'll get it taken care of for you. And I hope this video helps on pricing, on what we're trying to accomplish. All of this is supposed to be is just educational for you to understand how the process works, how we can provide the service to you, how you can understand it, and anything else.
And just, if you have any questions at all, I know you hit on it a little bit, but just leave some comments down there. We'll get to them as quickly as we can. Give us a call. It's the fastest way to get a hold of us. Right. We'll go over anything and everything with you. If you had any questions about the video, give us a call and I'll elaborate exactly what we were going over. So
if you have questions about any of the content here, please comment, send us a direct message. We would also really encourage any ideas of videos you guys would like us to provide about car hauling, what we need to do. We can show loading up trucks, just different ideas. So give us a holler, give us a comment, like, subscribe, let us know. We want to get out to the masses just explaining what we do. I hope this helps on the educational piece.
Thank you.